repetition, consent, reciprocity, and documentation. Facilitation becomes a very delicate modulation between being solidary, oh, fuck. Really, really early in the morning between solidarity between solidarity and extraction, and you're composing that line, not submitting into it. So the two pieces here, if you're looking at community art, I think that the two there, the community art and the art making to build a sense of coherence, new developments, and the communal art making and conflict transformation from art in action. If you don't have those books, go and buy them. If you don't have them and you need them, I could probably get you a PDF version. When it comes to community art, these are the pieces. Important books. Okay, so I start with a piece there from Gabriel Levine, and looking at traditional culture, it can offer powerful resources for shaping shared ways of being in the world. Practice move through a world that is damaged and both ecologically and socially, mediated through corporate platforms. Gabriel, he's got some really good stuff. If you get a chance to read the art and tradition in a time of uprising, if you have a chance to buy it, sorry.
He's a son, one of Steve Levine's sons, for those of you who haven't heard that name before.
It's cool stuff. It takes some of the philosophy that Steve built at that period of the work and then building it into a more philosophical frame, or not more philosophical, but differently philosophical, using a lot of more contemporary theory. It's brilliant. It's brilliant stuff. And he talks about the traditional, the same sort of way that I've talked about the mother's mother's mother. How do you bring that into a legitimate knowledge source for everything we're doing in research? And he talks about traditional and being that sort of way. And I spent a couple of weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, studying traditional Quebec's a province in Canada. There's a small community in Quebec that is really sort of taken off with a resurgence of the traditional Quebec music, and some of the ideas that Gabriel brings in about how we look at traditional as a knowledge set. It made me really, really interested in some of the things that were happening in Quebec music. And when we're talking about these communities in Quebec, they called it the Quiet Revolution. That was when the church sort of stepped aside and more traditional government stepped in. But for decades, if not hundreds of years, dominated by the Catholic Church, in some communities, very, very oppressive. You're not allowed to have fun. You're not allowed to do a lot of these things. So traditional music had evolved as a backdoor event. It was something that the church didn't want you to dance. They'd tolerate some music, but so a lot of their musical culture ended up with bumming people with their bums in chairs as opposed to dancing. So the community developed the traditional music, and these young guys that are performing, often they're singing about picking apples and walking to school and old traditional songs. It's very, very cool. So Quebec traditional music is folk music from the French-speaking Canada, where fiddle, accordion, call and response songs, and polyrhythmy lock together into driving rhythms. And for me, I'm really interested in kitchen parties, rural festivals, and working class gatherings. And that would be what Gabriel's talking about, traditional knowledge. They tend to be improvisational, rough, and opportunistic, gathering the materials and techniques at hand, combining them to new relations. So a lot of times these traditional folk music events they'd change the lyrics to accommodate whatever's happening in the politics or whatever. So I'm going to play the video, and you can laugh at how ridiculous this is. It's so cool.